Hello, in this video we're going to see how smelting was discovered. We're going to see one theory, perhaps, of how smelting was discovered. Hopefully you remember what smelting is. Think about it now. If you don't remember, it is when you turn metal into liquid in order to shape it or combine it with another metal. By now we know that this was possible and that our ancestors managed to do this, but have you ever thought about how they realized that this was even a possibility? If you haven't, we're going to see now, okay? I'm going to need you to think along with me and try and come up with the idea as I explain. So perhaps step one is a person decides, I want to build a fire. Okay, he wants to build a fire. Now, he wants to do it outside, but if he just makes a pile of sticks and lights a fire, what could happen? He just has a pile of sticks, fire, nothing else. What's going to happen? Try and answer the question. Well, perhaps you came up with this idea. It's pretty big, the fire, but it's the idea that I had. If you just light a fire and it's not contained in something, it could spread very easily, and if it spreads, it can do a lot of damage, like you see in the picture above. Where do you have your fire in your house if you have a chimney? Where is the fire? Do you just light it in the middle of the living room floor? I hope not. Well, why don't we just light the fire and not contain it? Because it can spread easily and cause damage. Therefore, the next step will be, let's contain the fire. Contain the fire. And how they might decide to do that is by building anyone want to guess? A stone ring. This simple circle of stones will contain the fire inside it and stop it from spreading outside. Okay. Perhaps you see where I'm going with this. So now we have a stone circle with a fire inside it. It's going to get pretty hot here because there's a big fire, and the stones all around it, here, and especially closest to it here, for example, are going to get extremely hot. And this is key to the smelting process. We need a high temperature. So let's have a closer look at the stones and see what's so special about them. Okay, so here we have two different types of stones or rocks, but hopefully you can see that they're not any old rocks or any old stones. Look carefully at these different sections on them, this silvery grey colour and these sparkly little bits here. What do you think that could be? Well, the answer is metal ore. A lot of rocks contain metal ore, which is the raw material of metal inside of the rock. And if you think about it, what if we use this type of rocks and stones next to our fire? We make our stone ring out of these type of rocks. What's going to happen? Well, hopefully you've come up with an idea. If these rocks here, imagine these rocks here, are actually like the ones in the previous slide, and they get really close to the fire, and the fire is lit for a long period of time, what can happen is the metal ore inside these rocks and stones can be made into liquid and kind of become extracted from the rock or stone. And so a curious ancestor notices this fact, maybe the next day when the fire has gone out, sees this material that's kind of liquidy, or maybe they don't see that stage, they just see a new material that they hadn't had before, which is the extracted metal ore, and they also realize just how hard this substance is, and therefore that it could be very useful. What they will start doing is searching for rocks and stones like the ones I showed you in the previous slide, because they saw that when they put these rocks and stones around the fire in a ring, and the fire was lit for a long time, that this special kind of metal material was being extracted, and then they could use it to make other tools. Well, that's one theory or idea of how smelting was discovered. I hope it's clear enough. How about you think about the way they discovered that tin and copper combined made bronze? How do you think they came up with that?